Hello again and welcome back to my channel. Bit of a different configuration here since our house is for sale. The table that I usually have in this area right here is down at the request of my agent, who says it's going to look a lot better. Makes the room look larger, of course. And that's what we want to do when we're selling our home, is to make the rooms look as large as possible. This has been a week. We've had a little bit of everything. The weather here in Florida has been cold. I mean, really cold. Early morning, 37 degrees. That's not what we're used to here. 37 is very cold. And personally, sleeping is always a problem, so that's just an ongoing thing with me. My schedule has changed, so I'm now taking the dogs to the park in the morning, and that means getting up earlier, feeding them, getting out at a decent hour, so I can get back to the house to do what I need to do. My poor little Bella. The one you see over my shoulder is Beau. And he and his sister are both from the same litter. They're 6 years old now. And he's the one usually with the problem with his stomach. But little Bella, I don't know what she ate, but one day she was sick all day. Running out, she had a bad, bad tummy. They're like children. When yours are all grown up and have left the house, they're like your kids. So we also had a viewing at our house, which was good. It was only on the market 2 days and there was a viewing. And the people loved it. However, they lived in another state and didn't feel that they could carry the house for a year while they lived in their home state, and they were going to retire in a year. Personally, I don't see why they came a year in advance if they didn't have a plan. That's just me. Our women's club had a book club luncheon this week, it's always so fun. Yeah, I know I've said this multiple times if you've listened to my videos, but joining the women's club was the best thing I could have done when I moved here, because I can now say I have multiple friends that I never would have met, most likely, until I joined this club. And we had our luncheon this week for the book club, and it was, I forget the name of the book now that we read last month. We did discuss the book. Even though it may be only 5 minutes, we did discuss the book. And next month, we are going to read another book. I don't have it in front of me. I should have thought ahead. But it is a book that was written during the war, takes place in England and the Channel Islands. And I'll include it at the end of this video. I like to have things made in advance, because then I don't have to worry about getting up in the morning and eating toast or cereal. Cereal's not really good for us. They say it's good, but it's full of sugar, very little fiber, and it does make it healthier when you add fruit, which I do, but still. So I made a huge, huge batch of protein pancakes. They're made with oat flour or oats. You don't even really have to grind the oats. Eggs, bananas, kefir, which is a probiotic, cottage cheese, vanilla, strawberry, either baking powder or baking soda. I can't remember. Or maybe some of both. I don't remember. So I made this humongous batch of batter. It was so big I had to put it in the large pot that I use when I boil up spaghetti, pasta. And my gosh, I don't know where my time goes, really. That thing sat in the fridge for about 2 days before I finally got around to making the pancakes. How ridiculous is that? You would think that at the age of 80, I'd have nothing much to do. That's not the case. Don't forget, I also have my seamstress business. So as you can see over this shoulder, I have some garments that I've already adjusted, and they're ready for my customer to pick them up. Another thing I had to do, of course, you have to learn new things, right? We got a printer, oh gosh, it's quite a few months ago now. Our other one just conked out. And I had to scan some documents for the Arts Festival, which is part of our women's group, and I'm chair of that committee. So I had to figure out how my new printer works to scan documents. That took a minute or two to figure out. Anyway, I finally got that done. Off to the appropriate people, and we'll be going in February, bringing the items that won in our club up to what we call District 8, which has multiple clubs in it. So our items that won first place will be entered in the arts competition. My husband started a new job about 2 weeks ago. Same old, same old. He's in the landscape industry, and he is a branch manager. And of course, they have the same problems in every branch that he's been in. The only thing is, the first day he was there, ice showed up at the door, and everybody was up against the wall with their hands up in the air. And apparently there were 4 illegal people that were removed, but it wasn't a great experience for his first day on the job. That's the industry. It's not a great one, but he has got a degree in horticulture, and this is what he's done for years and years, and he's really good at it. And he loves to work. I don't see that the man will ever retire. He's lucky to be healthy. Both of us are very lucky to be healthy without any medications except a statin. We're very, very fortunate. Back again. Took a minute to go get my book. And also you can see we now have Miss Little Bella, who's joined us in the back there. And I wanted to go get the book that is this month's read, The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. My sister sent me this book years ago. The way it's written, it's very different, because these two people exchange letters, and this is what you're reading, is the letters. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. But it's really, really interesting. And it takes place in, let's see if there's an overview here that I can read to you. I will do a book review. I had read it a few years ago, and I'm going to read it again because I recommended it for the book club, and everyone is going to be reading it, so we are going to be discussing it. And no, I can't find an overview. But back to the weather here, because it's changed how we eat. And I've been making meals that I would have typically made when we lived further north, like in Canada or in Washington State, Virginia, even Pennsylvania, New Jersey. I made a shepherd's pie. We have not had shepherd's pie in I don't know how many years. But that's how cold it's been here. Like, you want to eat something that's got some meat to it, so to speak. And I know that's just sort of a term. And then the other day, I also made beef stew in the crock pot. Threw all that together in the morning, let it cook on low for 8 hours, and threw in some potatoes at the end. Honestly, my husband thought it was the best thing since sliced bread, and it's just beef stew. Nothing really out of the ordinary, but it really just hit the spot when you've been out working all day and it's cold. One of the great things about technology is that both of my grandchildren play volleyball. Jacob, my 16-year-old grandson, he plays for a team out in Vancouver, British Columbia, and their games are on YouTube. And my son coaches. So not only do I get the opportunity to see my grandson play, I get to see my son coach. And my granddaughter is in university in Halifax, and she plays volleyball also. I get to watch her games on YouTube. So it's great. I love technology. And that brings us to today, or yesterday rather, was my son's birthday. I actually didn't get to talk to him because he was out coaching volleyball all day long and living in Vancouver. By the time he got home, I was in bed. Some sewing yesterday. You just have to be prepared for whatever crops up. People tell me when they drop items off, I never accept anything that needs to be done tomorrow because I don't want to stress myself out about anything. And this couple came last week, I think, and they wanted there were 2 pairs of jeans. They wanted them for Sunday. So I had them ready and I called them. Oh, we don't really need them on Sunday now. Our plans have changed. And some people, I usually text them to say, your items are ready for pickup, etc., etc. Some people don't text. Some people don't use their GPS, depending on their age group, I'm finding. Personally, I like to keep up with whatever's going on. And that's just me, I guess. Please leave your comments or suggestions of what you'd like me to talk about. I kind of ramble, I know. I've been keeping a journal of what I do on a day-to-day basis. A lot of times it's just really mundane tasks, but I am busy every day. And there are situations where I have to learn new things or provide advice or leadership, and also use technology. So I think I'm keeping my brain pretty active. And maybe that's what is allowing me to live a healthy life, which, I wish for all of you out there.